Lenders from time to time will change their policies and the products they make available to buyers. So I heard in the past, Ryan, that Royal Bank of Canada has a special program where certain aspects of the pre-approval are guaranteed.
Welcome to the Condo Cafe. We brew steaming topics and fresh insights into condo living, condo purchasing and selling, and everything in between. Who says real estate is complicated? Join us as we navigate the Richmond, BC world of condos.
So in other words, for example, if it's been pre-approved already, and in some cases somebody might have lost their job one way or another, the bank has a program which allows the buyer to carry on with the purchase of that unit. Is that quite right still, Ryan?
Yes. So let me clarify
Okay.
about our program.
Yes.
So I mentioned earlier about pre-approval.
Yes.
Again, the term pre-approval means we will pre-approve the buyers based on their credit and their income.
Yeah.
Okay, but obviously the property itself hasn't been completed, or in some cases the buyers, they have not found the property yet. That's why we do a pre-approval.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-approval is a good starting point. But pre-approval may not be sufficient for a pre-sale property, because when we provide a pre-approval, or at least when the banks provide a pre-approval, we can only guarantee that approval, and we can only guarantee the rate up to 120 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the reason why I said pre-approval will not be sufficient for a pre-sale property, because pre-sale completion is going to be in maybe 3, 4, or even in some cases 5 years. So we also discuss about the risks involved in buying a pre-sale property, and obviously Royal Bank, we understand what the buyers and also the developers are, what kind of risks that buyers and developers are facing. So we came up with a program. We designed a program to help buyers and builders reduce the risk of buying a pre-sale property, and hopefully with this program we can almost 100% guarantee that the financing will be there for buyers when they need to complete the unit.
Yeah.
Again, as just going back to pre-approval because it only guarantees up to 120 days. Obviously, pre-approvals cannot protect buyers from things like changes in interest rate, changes in, you mentioned, changes in lending policies and regulations, changes in market, in value, personal circumstances we mentioned, like, what if you lose your job? What if you become sick and you are not able to work? Like, obviously, pre-approval will not be able to cover those risks.
So when we go to a presentation center, for example, and then there are different lenders that represent themselves there at the presentation center. Now, it's very unlikely that a project will be completed in 120 days. So what kind of approvals are we getting when we go to speak to these lenders at the presentation center? Because in some cases, projects completion is 6 years away, right?
Right.
So are there some types of finance programs where once we come to an agreement with a lender, that the lending will that the finances will be in place at the time when completion happens?
The major lenders out there, they what they provide again is not a firm approval, but is more like a pre-approval, because even though they would say they will be able to hold the rate or hold the approval for 3 years, for example. But when we get closer to completion, what the lenders will do is they will actually ask for new income documents, and they will also check your credit again. So if your credit rating changes, again, or your income changes, or you lose your employment completely, obviously that jeopardizes the approval itself. But what the program we have at RBC is a little bit different, because we actually provide firm approval, and this is 100% approval with no conditions at the time of application. Which also means RBC will, basically Royal Bank will guarantee, as long as there's no major change with the application, no major change in terms of property, in terms of value, not value, but price. We will not ask for any new document, and we will not check your credit again prior to completion. Yeah. So this is the guarantee from Royal Bank, and with our program for pre-sale mortgage, pre-sale property, and we actually partner with most major developers, and we have put what we call builder packages in place, meaning we work together with the builder to provide this this program for pre-sale property. Yeah. A lot of people may not know, like a lot of buyers do not know this type of program is available on the market. So that's why we are sharing today, and I'm hoping that more people will realize that there's a program out there that you can actually secure firm approval from the time you sign that contract. And you don't have to wait until, for example, 120 days or 90 days before closing to go and get your financing.
And so let's say I'm the buyer, and then we bought and had the finances put in place 3 years ago, and now it's time to do the property transfer. So do you say that as long as there are no major changes like in price, the finances are still available? Because sometimes it does change the price. The builder might say, you know what, there's this particular clause in the disclosure statement that says that if labor costs or material costs go up substantially, there is a provision for the developer to charge more. So in that case, this particular financial package won't be valid anymore, I would imagine, because
it will be case by case. So
it will be case by case.
In terms of the property itself, if it's the same property, if the changes in terms of price is minor, approval itself will depend on the mortgage amount itself. If there's no major change to the
like $100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, to the mortgage amount, then we may still be able to honor the approval. However, if the mortgage amount changes significantly, obviously we have to review the application to make sure that the buyers can still afford to pay the mortgage. Right.
I wonder if you can clarify for me one thing, Ryan. For example, at the time someone's applying for the mortgage and they have a decent job, and then like in 5 years' time, just to clarify again, something happens and they have been retrenched or something. So in this particular package, in this particular financial arrangement, will the bank still honor this?
So I mentioned earlier, because we do not ask for any new income documents, and we will not check your credit again, as long as there's no change to the property or the mortgage amount. So in your case, we will still honor the approval. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, again, this is the guarantee from Royal Bank. Once you're approved, it's 100% approved with no conditions. Even if you lose your job. Yeah. It's a great program.
Yeah.
It's an excellent program. And also one other thing I just want to mention quickly is obviously the rate guarantee, right? So we will guarantee the rate for whatever the approval is for whatever period the approval is for. If it's it's approval for 3 years, we will guarantee the rate for 3 years. If it's for 5 years, we will guarantee the rate for 5 years. The best thing is even if we guarantee the rate, for example, if rate actually goes down in 3 years or just prior to closing, we actually can go back and review the rates 120 days before closing.
I see.
So if the rates has gone down, we will still give clients the better rates. Okay. But if rates is higher than what is already approved, then they will still we will still honor the whatever the guarantee, the rate that is already approved on the application.
I see. That's quite a good safety
it's
feature of that particular bank arrangement.
Again, I mentioned earlier, the reason we design a program is because we understand there are risks involved for both the buyers and the developers in terms when it comes to a pre-sale. When it comes to a pre-sale property.
Because as a developer, I would imagine the last thing they want is everybody being approved and all of a sudden some things happen and all these deals fall through, and then now the developer's stuck with all kinds of issues that they didn't anticipate in the beginning.
Exactly. Imagine during COVID, if all the buyers are not able to get financing, and then they're not able to close the purchase, what will happen to the developer?
So, Ryan, are there benefits in getting your mortgage pre-approved before the completion, as opposed to waiting the last minute and getting the mortgage pre-approved just before completion? What are the benefits of doing things early and having things in place ahead of time?
I think most of the benefits I already mentioned earlier. Meaning the rate guarantee. At least we. One thing I forgot to mention. We also will do the appraisal upfront. So that will also protect the buyers from any change in market value of the property. And again, just to summarize what we discussed earlier, right? Changes in personal circumstances, like again, with the approval from a Royal Bank, buyers are protected from changes in interest rate regulations, lending policies, employment, credit rating. Those are already protected. A couple of other things I just want to mention is when it comes to buying a pre-sale property, a lot of times developers, when you call up developers and ask, okay, can you give me an update? When is the closing date?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
They do not give you, in most cases, they do not give you a specific date. They will give you a window.
Yes.
Saying, oh, it's going to be from July to September.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the actual completion, they will just send you out a completion letter 10 days to 14 days before the actual completion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And imagine if buyers only have 10 to 14 days to get their financing in place, they may not have enough time to get financing in place.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's better to get your approval early rather than wait until last minute. And one last thing I just want to share is there's another feature that we are offering with the package that we have is the complimentary life, disability, and critical illness insurance.
I see. Yeah.
So we will offer life, disability, and critical insurance throughout the construction period. So buyers are protected, and they do not pay any premium during the construction. They will only start to pay premium after the mortgage has funded, which is after the completion of the purchase. Yeah. So we discussed earlier about losing job and or maybe have a change in employment. What if this the main income earner is what if the main income earner pass away, or the buyer, the buyer himself pass away? Is he going to lose the unit? Because obviously,
that's right. Yeah.
If he pass away, he's not able to pay the mortgage. So is the bank.
Yeah.
Well, the bank is not going to honor the approval, and obviously the purchase will not be able to complete. But with this insurance coverage, obviously, even if somebody passed away or they're injured and they're not able to work, the insurance will come in and help the buyers pay off the mortgage. So the family will actually still get the unit. And
this is the risk management, right?
Yeah,
Side of the deal.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, there's nothing to lose for buyers because they do not pay any premium during the construction period, and they're fully covered from day one.
Talk about earlier, Ryan, about the upfront appraisal. So with a company like a developer like BD, where we already know from their previous reputation that what they promise to provide, there's a good opportunity that they will execute what they have promised before. So in this sense, working with a company like BD, we know what to expect, as opposed to with some other developers where there's no track record, and sometimes we may find ourselves in a very difficult situation.
Obviously, working with a reputable developer, it does give you some kind of guarantee about the quality of the unit.
Yeah.
But again, appraisal is not just about the build or the quality of the unit itself, but also the changes in terms of market price. Because there may be some market changes that cause the value itself to appreciate or depreciate Obviously, banks is more concerned about what if the value depreciate. So that's why it's good to do the appraisal upfront. And again, as I mentioned, because it's already 100% approved, and we have the appraisal upfront. So even if there's any changes to the market or the value, or even if the value depreciate, the bank will still honor the approval.
Well, I hope you found some value in our little discussion. Thanks very much, Ryan, for this great session with you. So if you want to reach Ryan, please, I will put a link down in the description, and hopefully you can hook up with Ryan, and Ryan can provide you with the answers that you're looking for. So in summarizing, remember that when we buy pre-sales, there are risks involved. So our due diligence is to look at everything that can move and make sure that it's not moving in the wrong direction. Thanks, Ryan, and thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you again, Gerald, for having me on Condo Cafe. So yeah, we'll well, we'll do this again another time.
Yes, we'll do it again another time.